Well,
We did it.
we made it. Here we are. Where are we, Sarah? Where are we today?
We are Mark. We're not in
We're
Kansas.
not in Kansas.
Nope. We are in California. So us East Coasters came over to the West Coast to see our friends at Jazz Imaging.
Jazz Imaging, San Jose, California. My only second time that I've been to California ever as a 50-year-old man.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. And what an experience we've had here today with the Jazz Imaging family.
I if you would have told me how I mean I already know that the team is amazing and obviously you're amazing, but if you would have told me how wonderful like meeting the rest of the team was, I don't know if I really would have believed you.
Yes, I don't think I believe myself either. But let's take a step back here. First off, I have this nice shirt that I had made up. I am all jazzed up because of my jazz family. And today, I'll tell you what, you have to be a special person to get in here. I'm pretty sure I needed level one security clearance.
Mm-hmm.
I think you only have level two, so you didn't get to see all the rooms that I get to see with my tour. Is
Nope.
that correct? Yes.
Correct.
We're getting you there. You're going to have level one security
Okay.
clearance.
Okay.
I got frisked by the security when I came here.
Wait. Did you really get frisked?
And do you know who the security is? Yes, it's Bobby Edwards, aka Coach. He frisked me down. I had nothing on me. He did such a good job frisking me. I'm definitely coming back tomorrow just for another frisk job
With his jazz hands?
With his jazz hands. Bobby,
Yes.
do you want to weigh in on the security?
Well,
Wait. Before we do this, though, let's just tell everybody because we're live. We have Jocelyn, we have Bobby, and we have Todd, and our whole little gang. And so, just wanted to make sure that.
So yes, we are at the headquarters here at Jazz Imaging. We are with the CEO, Todd Miller. We are with Jocelyn Miller, who is the VP of Business Development, and we have Bobby Edwards, who is the ultimate salesperson, the guru of sales in the dental industry.
Stop
And
Stop. Stop it.
So listen, it's such a great honor to be here. We're all in the same facility right now. We're in different rooms. What an awesome headquarters that we have here. We had a tour, totally blown away by their setup, by all their employees, the work that they're doing, the sensors that they're putting together. Jazz imaging sensors are probably the best sensors that I have used in my clinical experience. My lips to your ears. If you're not using the Jazz imaging sensors, you should definitely be incorporating them into your dental practices because their quality is unmatched, their comfort for their patients is unmatched. And we have the head dogs here today, and we want to get to know you guys a little bit better. We want our listeners to hear a little bit more about you and what makes you tick and your story. And so thanks for having us here. Thanks for taking us out, guys.
Thank you for coming.
So, Todd, maybe we can start with you as the CEO. Maybe you can give us a little history here on Jazz Imaging Sensors and how it started and where you guys came from and where you are now.
Yeah, it seems like an eternity ago. I mean, I've been in sensors for a long time. I tell the story and it kind of ages me, but I've been doing dental sensors since, I think, 2002. So worked on DEXIS sensors back in the day, back the old original DEXIS Classic for another company called Fairchild Imaging. After that, we developed the DEXIS Platinum and the Gendex GX700 sensors. Done some things with Sirona, not in sensors, but definitely been in the imaging business for quite a while. Left that company, decided to gather up a crew of people I know and trust, and developed a new sensor using all the great things about DEXIS, which I think it is a great sensor. But it has some flaws, so you improved upon it. Brought together a team of technologists, got some of the old DEXIS crew back, from the sales side, developed our own sensor and started manufacturing them here in San Jose, California. And our whole crew is here, engineers, our manufacturing facility, which is where I am. People are at home right now, so unfortunately, they're at the bar before we are. Um, but yeah, I mean,
Cheers!
here. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers! Cheers, everyone!
Cheers.
Cheers!
Yeah,
Woo.
our support team's still here supporting the customers in the West Coast. They're about to go home too. Um, so yeah, we're wrapping it up for the weekend, and looking forward to things. But yeah, we've been doing everything here in the Silicon Valley, and things have been going great. Thanks to all your help, everybody here on the line.
And so, what's really cool, though, too, Todd, is obviously we have you here as the CEO, and we have your wife, Jocelyn, who's also part of the team and helping running this amazing crew. But as I learned today, we also have your son, who's one of the engineers, correct?
Yeah,
Jordan?
yeah, he helps out, and it's like a family business. I mean, this is really a friends and family business. I mean, almost everybody here I've known for somehow throughout the years, brought some family members in. And you talk about Jocelyn. It's supposed to be top secret that she's my wife, but she's the real boss. I just kind of do what she says, and
Smart man.
yeah, you know how
My
it works.
boss.
And yeah, we have our son. We got a son, my other son here working for the summer intern, and we do this for our other employees also. Bring in other employees in for their kids as interns. Got some other employees, some other founders who have engineering kids also, and we bring them in, and it's a family business to some extent.
So, if yes, a family business, that is so awesome because we don't see too much of that these days anymore. But yeah, what a testament and how lucky to have your family working with you.
Well,
Um,
it's a blessing and a curse, so it's
yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it.
yeah.
I'm supposed to say that.
Well, wait, I have a question as far as the history goes. Where does jazz come from?
Oh, well, first of all, no offense, but I think a lot of the names in the dental industry are somewhat boring and forgetful. So I decided, we sat down and thought of names. We were trying to find something to just make you think this is not the normal dental company, right? And wanted to liven it up. And also we were looking at, names that weren't being used in the industry, and also URLs. And Jazz came up, and it's been 10 years now. And so I don't know who to actually attribute it to, because we had a pool of names to think about, but it was intentionally trying to be different. Let's just say that.
um, Today was a great experience that I'd like to share with our listeners because, so again, Sarah and I flew from the East Coast yesterday and today to come here to San Jose to the Jazz Imaging headquarters. And today was a pretty amazing day because, at least from my end, as a clinician, I got to sit down with the Jazz team. I got to have a tour. I got to speak with their engineers, and we had some great brainstorming sessions, right? Some good whiteboarding, some spitballing on how things can be improved, with the sensor. Not that things actually need to be improved, but we're always looking to make the best product that we can. And from a clinician's perspective, I was enlightened today about what you guys do, how you guys do it, and just totally impressed by it all. I mean, again, on my tour today, I got to see your employees, your workers, working under microscopes, putting together your sensors. Todd, we can see behind you there. That's one of the spaces that I had a tour of today. And it's so funny because you have this preconceived idea, about, okay, I'm going to the Jazz Imaging headquarters, and I have this idea in my mind what it's going to look like. And what I pictured in my mind was nothing as to what it is because it's so much bigger here. Sorry, Sarah, I don't want to hit you and knock you off. It's so much bigger here than I thought. And you guys are in a situation right now where you are outgrowing your space because of the fine work that you're doing.
Yeah, I'm reminded every day about how we don't have space, and it's one of my tasks to find a new facility. But yeah, we've definitely outgrown this place. We're squeezing. We're getting more and more comfortable sharing space. But it's good and bad. It's nice to all be in one place, but when your walls don't move, you eventually have to figure out how to do something different.
Jocelyn,
Yes, Mark.
How are you? I know
Awesome.
you're great because I've been with you all day today. So, Jocelyn, it's funny. In today, we kind of, when we were speaking and kind of brainstorming, we were all talking about, our history and kind of sharing that and taking a step back as to how we met. And when I met Bobby at the same time as well at one of our conferences last year. And, I think for me personally, one of the big things that kind of, tipped me off to you guys and had that allure was the personalities of you and Bobby. And for me, it's all about the people. And we've heard that today, Sarah, with you talking about, your marketing expertise. And how it is all about the people and it's all about the good people, which certainly you guys were, which stood out to me. Jocelyn, maybe you can take us or tell us a little bit more about what you're doing with Jazz, how you got into this position, and take it from there.
Yeah, like as I have shared, I was poached from my previous job, but it's really, it's almost like living the name of jazz, right? And Todd, um, may have shared that, some of the names that we've seen in dental is boring, but it becomes like a testament that, like we're bringing in not only fun, inside the company through people, and also bringing it out to the partners that we have accumulated throughout these years, especially you guys. And I think it all starts with, one purpose, right? This is, when the vision that he presented to a lot of us is that, we have to do something different, in the dental industry. And the model that we are bringing in, the product that we are bringing into, for to practices, that's one thing. But where is it coming from? Who built these products? And you've spoken about, family and culture. I think that is a testament for, like, the good people. Like, we project this energy when you see us, when you and see me and Bobby in the trade show, because of what we bring from the inside of this organization. And I'm really, really happy that to hear what you and Sarah have to say about. I honestly, Mark and Sarah, I was so nervous. Like, okay, what are they gonna say about, our setup here, about the things that we are doing here, because we're doing it with with a lot of great intentions. And to hear your feedback, it really means a lot. And I hope that, that it will inspire all of us. It starts with inspiration, right? Inspire all of us to continue to, to bring good things to in the dental space.
So, Jocelyn, you mentioned culture, and in the dental world, in our dental practices, we talk about how important it is to have that great culture. And Sarah, you were talking today about with your business how important it is to have that culture in your business. And coming here today, all of your staff were so welcoming. We had a great time. We had a nice lunch together with everyone. We celebrated 3 birthdays today. We had some delicious birthday cake, which I only had one piece of, but Kurt certainly could have had two. Todd, I think you did have two, didn't you?
You had a cookie too.
And I had a cookie.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
I'm feeling the effects too. So
And then, of course, we have the greatest salesman, Bobby Edwards, aka Coach.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Boston and Bubba.
Bobby, we are so glad that you could make this here, and we know that you traveled a good distance to be here today.
Yeah.
You're not exactly right next door to the headquarters, so thanks so much for coming. But
Absolutely.
listen, you are so well known in the dental industry. You're so well loved by so many people because of just this great personality that you have. You can get down to everyone's level and just you start those friendships with people, which is where that success comes from. And you really serve as a face of Jazz Imaging Sensors, and you really do your thing so well.
Thank you.
And maybe you can share a little bit, Bob, about your history, how you got here, and your outlook.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Sarah, Mark. It's great to be here. No, I've been in medical sales since '97, and in '98, pretty much started on the imaging side on the hospital. So for 10 years, I was in every modality of X-ray on the hospital side, and then went over to cardiology. And I was a cardiology account specialist forever, cardiology account manager. And the nice thing is working for GE, and we came out with the very first flat panel digital cath lab. And it was always film, 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 and having that experience, being 2 years ahead of the competition, was absolutely fabulous. And then an opportunity presented itself in dental, being married to a dentist. Aaron DeCourt actually interviewed me and hired me at Dexis when Dexis was just a sensor and software, and it wasn't Dexis Imaging. We were just green, and Todd was the lead engineer on that sensor being manufactured. I was there for the launch of the Dexis Platinum, and that sensor was their sensors used to be manufactured just down the road here in San Jose. And when they decided, they shut down that assembly line, they decided not to do it, stateside anymore and whatnot. And Todd said, I can do this, and it's great. And it was actually Aaron DeCourt who then came over here with Todd and was here. And then he said, hey, I know a guy. And I got a phone call, and he said, are you available? And I said, you have a job for me? What's going on? He said, I might. I said, you bet. I'll come work for you. And the nice thing is that in all seriousness, just being in the sensor market, but meeting Todd and Jocelyn for the very first time, that was the first introduction. I guess you could say it was my interview, if you will. But it's a testimony to what Todd said earlier, the culture that he has built here, and with Jocelyn and the team, being privately held. It's nice. It's a nice place, coming from places like General Electric, GE, where you're huge. And I hate to say it, sometimes you're a number. And here you're more than that. And it's just really the focus that we have. And that's why we wanted you guys to see the office. We wanted you to see what we do, because it's a story that Jocelyn and I tell every single time we're at a trade show, that, we handle everything from soup to nuts, from beginning to end. We manufacture the sensors here. Our technical support is here. Customer care is here. Our engineering staff is here. Todd and Jocelyn are here. So it's really nice when you have that one building. You're all under one roof. And it's just really, really special. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm very, very happy being here. And it's just been great to be on the road and being out there and represent what we do here out there throughout all the trade shows.
Bobby.
Yes. Sarah.
Thank you. One of the things that you're known for is your custom suit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
is this something that you did before working at Jazz, or was this like, oh, no, I'm jazzed up. I'm going to get my own custom suit. And are there more in the making?
It's a great question. Here's a long story really quick, is that I happened to run into a guy, again, how I make friends very fast. I met this guy on the beach.
We didn't know that. You do?
Yeah. Met this
That's
guy.
of us.
Literally met this guy on the beach in Hawaii, and he was waiting for a catamaran with his wife, and we just started chatting. And literally, I had been thinking about getting a new coat, just getting in some new clothes, being out there on the circuit, like I call it, the trade show circuit. And he mentioned he does this, and he lives in LA. I happen to say I live in Sacramento. He goes, I'm going to be up there next week. I'll come by your house. And next thing I know, this guy that I met on the beach is at my house in my living room 3 days later. His name is Vincent. He's awesome, absolutely wonderful. And he is a custom tailor. I mean, he's actually he has a lot of nice clients and whatnot. So he came in and fitted me for some nice shirts and jackets that I could wear on the show. And to answer your question, Sarah, yes, I have recently now gotten three more coats, a pair of slacks, and two more shirts. And Vinny's he's awesome. So yeah, I like it. I'm glad you notice. People notice it. So I just want to look sharp when we're in the booth. We represent, you know?
You posted something about this on LinkedIn like
Yeah.
last week or the week before, and I commented. And apparently, Vinny has a LinkedIn page
He
because he
does.
responded back to me. So shout out to Vinny.
Yeah, absolutely. He is wonderful. So yes, I thank you for noticing. I just wanted to, I guess, if you will, being in the space for so long, not wanting to date myself like Todd said he was doing as well. But yeah, I wanted to get some newer clothes, some things that the young kids are wearing. So I,
Bobby, so we were, so you, Jocelyn, myself, a couple people from Video Health, we were all at the GPS Summit a couple weeks ago, which was
yeah,
fantastic, right? And
absolutely.
we had a
God,
chance to do a little presentation there and talk
yeah,
about AI and quality imaging and the relationship between those two.
yeah.
But you were looking extraordinary.
That was
And you
actually
have one of
that
your
was
new
one of the new
jackets on.
the
One of
whole
your new jackets on.
it was.
I'm actually a little bit jealous because of how good you looked in it. But yeah, you certainly stood out. But that was a great summit, wasn't it?
It was
That was
fabulous.
my, yeah, yeah. And for you guys, I know you were exhibiting, and we had some other friends there too exhibiting. How did it go for you guys overall for that part of it, the exhibit part?
It was fabulous. I mean, one, being GPS's preferred X-ray vendor is just building that relationship with them over time, working with Abigail, working with Chandler. They're just a great group, and then to have the honor to be invited to their summit was great. It was just fantastic because it really was a CE type of organization. I mean, I think they had 130 doctors there, and to get CE credits and whatnot. And we even sponsored to have, with you there and give a talk and get their credits was great. And they gave us a really nice booth space. We got a lot of traffic, people coming through, and they had a lot of nice events. It was at the Adolphus, right, Jocelyn? Adolphus
That's right.
Hotel in
Don't,
I
yeah.
would I would say it wrong. I would say Adolphus, but the Adolphus Hotel in Dallas, and it was just wonderful. I loved being there. I very much enjoyed my time in Dallas. Yes.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I
was.
think, I think, I think, Mark, one of the things that, going to these, summit, like being invited, it's truly an honor. Meeting their leadership team, and the rest of the team, because, as have experience, we know Abigail, we know Chandler, but we really don't know who else is behind this great organization, right?
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing to to not only meet them but get to know them. And again, going back to culture, like, why is this organization like very well run? And you meet these, you meet who is behind them, and it truly is inspiring. And I come back to the office with a lot of ideas on, okay, maybe we should start doing this and start doing that. So they all love it when I come back and create more work
Yeah.
and change a lot of different things. But
Jocelyn, you totally hit the nail on the head with that. I agree. That I was totally impressed by the summit that they had and how they ran it, and like you just said, the culture, and no wonder why they're so successful with the dentistry that they're performing on a national level.
yeah,
Have you guys noticed too that this is starting to become a trend where more and more DSOs are now having their own events? Like, I feel
Yeah.
like that's like really kind of picked up over the last like year, like 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So cool that they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said it's an honor. It's an honor to be there
Yeah.
because, you know, we all see each other at Dykema. We'll see each other at the DSO Leadership Summit, maybe ADSO, just some of the bigger ones, DEO that are out there that people know, and you can always be a vendor there. But then to have an organization ask you and have it be a smaller, intimate affair because they want to showcase you to their own doctors, their doctor partners, and members. It was great. That's what it's all about. You work hard at these things, and you get invited to these other smaller private ones, and it was awesome. That's why I loved being there. It was great.
We've talked a little bit about business here, and as we know, in the not so serious dental podcast, we like to talk about some other things as well. Um, I have a couple things that I would like to bring up. I was actually getting a little bit picked on here today.
As you should.
In our convo.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. I have tissues for him in case he gets upset.
Okay.
Yeah, she knows.
Sarah, I have this. You're not very far from me, so we can also make this a solution.
Okay. I might get kicked out here soon.
Actually, Sarah, we are going to start with you. It's interesting. Today, I saw early this morning that there was a post on LinkedIn about you, and you were dancing at Dykema, and it looks like you were having the absolute time of your life. You were sandwiched or manwiched between two gentlemen, and you guys looked like you were really having a fun time. Now, we've talked about this before a little bit. Anything is fine with your boyfriend, but when it comes to other guys, you have to be sensitive about that and consider my feelings here as one of your BFFs.
I know.
Okay,
I learned that lesson today.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that's very good. Jocelyn, we had a great time at the summit that we were at, and we had a very nice dinner that we went to, and it's so funny. You're this little package of a person, right? But the amount of food that you inhaled, I was blown away by. Let's consider all the things. So the appetizers crushed. We had many of those, and the big plate that you had was the waffles and fried chicken, right?
Yeah. Chicken steak.
Okay.
Yeah.
That plate was literally bigger than your head, but to top it all off, the desserts. Right? I think we had about
desserts though.
the key lime pie was your absolute favorite, correct?
So good.
You are a key lime pie lover. So this kind of brings us to, okay, you love to eat. That's great. Again, you're this little package. You take care of yourself. You're obviously, in the gym or working out. And Todd, I know you bike a tremendous amount. You bike to work almost every day. So let's start getting into, the things that drive you, your passions, your hobbies. What do you guys like to get into?
Other than food?
I want to start, but I think the first thing you hit on with Jocelyn, eating is definitely her number one passion.
Okay, here we go. We are getting down to the nitty gritty.
The fact that you weren't at a Michelin restaurant, I'm actually happy to hear that for once. So she eats so much, and one thing you don't notice, or maybe you didn't experience, hopefully you didn't get to this, is if she doesn't eat, she gets grumpy. So yeah,
hangry.
Yeah, just grumpy. Yeah, but that is her passion. I can already tell you.
I get hangry too.
I get so hangry. I don't know why, but I just, it's the reason of existence. For me, there are two reasons of existence other than my family, my children, food and travel. What else is there to do, right?
Yeah, yes. You guys like to travel. Favorite recent locations you've gone to?
Or ones coming up, because you guys have got some fun stuff coming up too.
So yes, one of my all-time favorite is a trip to Japan. I've only been there once. So coming up, we're going to the Philippines, where I originally is from. We're attending my nephew's graduation from college. So that's awesome. My parents and my brother and his family will be there. So we're there for about 10 days and then go to Japan for another 10 days. So I'm so excited to go back to Japan. I just love the culture. I love the food.
Is there like a favorite food? Is there like a favorite food that you're really looking forward to having again?
Besides key lime pie.
Yeah, besides key lime pie and fried chicken. Gosh. Sarah, there is really nothing that I don't eat. I love good food. The one thing that I will stay away from is mahi mahi. It gives me a headache.
Really?
But I love, yes, I don't know why. I love I love any food. Like I love Italian food. I love Japanese food. But really, I mean, like Mark saw me order. I look at everybody and they're like ordering this little piece of something. Mark, for crying out loud, ordered salad for dinner.
Salad.
I, and
You
I
have a pigeon.
and I ordered chicken, fried chicken and waffles. And I look at him, it's like, you're really making me feel so bad right now, but I don't care.
Was it a good salad? Why did you just order a salad?
I
Because
know.
it was so delicious and I wanted a salad. Yeah. And it had grilled chicken on it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, but did you see my fried chicken and
Uh,
waffle?
yeah, it looked glorious.
The
Um,
syrup that they gave me is like this big.
I love how Jocelyn's just like, here, my alcohol, my booze, again and again.
I know.
Tyson and Crispin.
The reason why is because that's the only way I can get her into the office. She always wants to work at home, but I tell her the alcohol's in the office.
That is not true. That is not true.
See, we're getting down to it here, folks.
That
The
is
Not
not
So Serious Dental Podcast, Boston and Bubbles.
Yeah.
We're just getting started here. Jocelyn, now, we spoke earlier today about Peloton. You're a big Peloton person. I love Peloton too. Who's your favorite instructor or instructors when you ride?
Well, Cody is
Hmm.
is my all-time favorite because
Okay.
he made pandemic season bearable.
He's so funny.
He's so like when I'm riding, I ride, like I always have Cody. Um, I've been doing a lot of strength training and I like Ben.
Okay, Ben
And
Aldis. Yeah.
yes, yeah, I like Ben. I do a lot of yoga as well. And
Okay.
I love Dennis. Do you guys do yoga? Do you do yoga in Peloton with Peloton, Mark?
I don't really. No,
You
no.
have to. And when you
Okay.
do, Dennis.
Okay. Maybe we could take
Okay.
a class together.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have to
Three
figure it
hour difference, but we could probably make it work.
out. Okay, yeah,
Now, Todd,
let's
Todd,
do
you're a
it.
big cyclist. I take it.
I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah, I enjoy riding when I can. Yes.
So, how like on a typical ride, how many miles are you putting in?
Well, work's only 10 miles away, so that's all I
Okay.
do during weekdays. So 20, right? So
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
hey,
but
that adds up.
yeah, it adds up, over the week. But in the weekend, ideally, I can get out 30 to 50. But
Wow.
I used to do centuries, but I haven't done one of those for
Oh, wow.
2 years at least. Yeah, so
Did you do racing before?
yeah, many years ago before the kids. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can't do that and have a family very easily. For me, I couldn't.
Now, do you guys any access to water sports, surfing, anything like that?
You think all Californians are surfers? Well, no,
No,
not
I
much.
don't. But know what sparks that question is there was a picture of you that I saw, and I can't even remember where I saw it, but it looks like it had something to do with surfing. So I didn't know if you have a little history with that.
I spent a lot of time in Hawaii, so
Okay.
maybe that's where it was.
And so have you surfed?
No, not well. I mean, I don't stay up for
Okay.
more than a few seconds, so no,
Okay.
I'm pretty
All right.
bad at it.
Okay.
We like boating. We have a boat. We go boating occasionally, but it's tough. It's the Pacific Ocean's a little cold. It's not like your East Coast oceans. You don't
Okay.
really want to get in there too long. Hawaii, though, you can hang
Yeah.
out there for a while.
Yep.
Could you see Todd with an orange sweatband and like matching like wristbands with
Yep.
like all jazzed up?
All jazzed up.
Oh my!
Christmas is coming.
Sure is.
Oh, speaking of Christmas, Todd, do you want to
Hmm.
tell everybody what your favorite? Well, I know that you like holidays and celebrations, but do you have? Although I just said, speaking of Christmas, Todd, do you have a favorite holiday? Pretty much
Yeah,
answered it, but do you
possibly
have a
Christmas.
holiday?
Yeah, no, we try to do holiday things here. We try to
Yeah.
celebrate, Thanksgivings and in particular, Christmas. We try to do like a holiday party where we fly everybody in, including all our sales staff. I mean, most of our manufacturing and support and everything here is here in San Jose, but our sales team is all over the country. So we fly them and their wives in, every December for we meet for a few days and then do a holiday party. So we make that tradition, and yeah, we're planning to stick to that. We're still able to fit within most restaurants now. So
I don't
well,
think
some
this year we
restaurants.
will be able to. And guess what? Coach Bobby Edwards is in that planning committee for Christmas
Yeah,
party. It'll be
I am.
fun.
That's
That's right.
great.
Come up with some good activities, Bob.
I am now part of the party planning committee. For those of you that are fans of The Office, yes, and I will tell you, here's the great thing: is that I think Todd is being very humble. The party this past Christmas, December, it was fabulous. It was just a absolutely wonderful time where we celebrate everybody there. Again, it's just a testimony to the culture. Everybody comes in, brings their significant other. It's just wonderful. And we had a bunch of games, a bunch of reindeer games, literally, and it's just fun stuff. I mean, and we're in a very nice high-end place. Jocelyn, we're a very, very nice place. Well food, well fed, a lot of good drink. It was great, and so it was just I love it. I literally cannot wait for it to be here again because it is a good time. It's a good time to celebrate our year, the successes that we've had, and to just really enjoy each other's company and just really get to know each other outside of the office even more. I love it. Again,
The best part last year was Bobby came, and at the end we started giving away prizes for games and whatnot, and there was a raffle at the end. And Bobby got up there and says, "And now for the last prize, it's a free trip to Hawaii on the Jazz Jet." And he started giving away prizes that didn't even exist.
Yeah, that's the problem. You give me the microphone, and I will.
Yeah, we learned.
Bubbles, I don't know about you, but I am looking forward to
Our invitation.
our invitation to
Yep.
the Christmas event this
Let
year.
us know. We'll clear our schedule.
Yep.
One of my favorite memories this year of being at a conference was the DEO summit in June. And Jocelyn and I had been texting each other, like, we should just go down to the pool. And we met at the pool, and Todd came and Bobby came, and there's a couple of other people. And we just had cocktails in the pool. I never get a chance to do that at conferences.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
I'm
And
jealous.
Bobby told the funniest story. I don't know if it's appropriate for a podcast, or maybe if I don't know, Jocelyn, if you think, but
No.
about your dad. Remember your story about your dad answering the phone?
Yeah, I know the story. Yeah.
But do you have a half an hour?
Right. That's really what I meant, Todd. Was I don't think we have the time. So for any of our listeners,
It's a funny story though.
it is. When you run into Bobby next time, ask him about the story about his dad answering the phone. You will
Yeah.
not regret it.
Yeah.
Now, Bobby, you have some history with basketball, right? So D1
Yeah, I did.
basketball.
Yeah.
Hey, got a fellow athlete here. Let's hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm sitting here with this cow thing behind me. I played at Oregon State. I grew up in
Bears.
Sacramento. Went to Oregon State and was there 5 years. Redshirted my first year and was on the team all 5 years and played those Final Four and had an absolutely fabulous time. It was absolutely wonderful, and just being a part of that. I mean, being in the Pac-10 then, and then Pac-12, and now it's just ruined. But being in the Pac-10 during my time there in those 4 years that I played, we had 2 national champions come out of that tournament, with UCLA, or out of that conference, UCLA and Arizona, and being able to play them in league. I mean, it was just packed. Played against a lot of guys that are, I'll even say future Hall of Famers, but a lot of guys out of the Pac-10 then went straight to the league. And it was awesome. Playing against the best of the best. It was great. Loved it.
That's truly awesome. And let me ask you, Bobby. Obviously you got a great team mentality. How much of that was carried over from college basketball days to now? Because obviously it's so well seen with you and how you interact with people and your team members. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It really is, putting a plan together, executing it as best you can every day, or I should say practicing it every day in practice, and then executing it on game night. So it's very similar in this type of industry where Jocelyn and I will, with Todd and the team, we have huddles, we have meetings, we have Zooms, and we talk, and then Jocelyn and I go out and we hit the it's game night, That's why I wanted to look sharp for the last show. But we get out there and we rehearse it and we get prepared and we have a plan of action, and we like to say we win. We win. It's good.
I want to interject, also, like working with Bobby. What I love about it is that, like it's really the growth, right? Like he loves feedback, like, oh, I didn't feel good about that, or like, how did I do,
Right.
on that? Because it's always good to, to hear from, someone else's perspective.
Yeah.
And, like it's no secret, this guy is the salesman, right? And for him to be, for him to, to get together and very humbly ask, like, what's the feedback, what can I do better, what did I do wrong, that kind of stuff. So you're talking about, like what, I obviously did not see you play basketball, right? But I think, like from coming from that background, coming from that, team mentality who wants to win, but also continuously wanting to improve.
Yeah.
And it's great because, that's one. But what I also attribute to what I also want to add to that is that he is so selfless in terms of like sharing that knowledge. Like he will go walk to our support team or call them and share a lot of like different information or knowledge. He's been in the industry for a long time, one, and he's married to a dentist, so he's got a lot of credibility in terms of what he's talking about, and he's very generous in sharing that with our team.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I,
he's
I want
definitely
to say that.
very in tune with people. Um, Definitely very in tune. Bobby, numerous times with me, you've kind of caught me at moments, and you're like, "Hey, you all right, Mark? You all
I
right?
know,
You all
right?
right?" Yeah. Which is a great gift. Back to your college days, I have a question. For you,
Go
you
ahead.
know, what were your strengths? Shooting, handling the ball. Um,
It's funny you say
Talking
that.
shit. Talking shit to people. I think that's probably a good one, right?
I had a rule. I had a rule. One of my teammates taught it to me. One time, one of my teammates, Steph Brown, from Ventura Junior College, he was JC Player of the Year out of California, hell of a athlete. And he came up, and him and I really hit it off. And one time he told me, he's like, "Hey man, you got to stick up for yourself," because it just didn't come natural. I just let my actions speak for themselves. But so I had a rule that if I didn't talk shit to someone unless they started it, and then it was on, and then it was fun.
and it was a long day for them.
It was. It
Unless
really
you
was.
started
I
it.
won't lie. But you asked what my strengths were. It's really funny you say that because in high school, I think my senior year of high school, I averaged 20 points a game, maybe
Wow.
10 rebounds a game. But again, coming out of high school, and then I'd go to Oregon State. I already told you this, the Pac-10, and I tell
Yeah.
people all the time, humbly, I realized how good I wasn't. And we
Sure.
had guys that could score. We had guys that could do other things. So I had to find out how to get on the floor and do
Hmm.
the things. And really, it was hustle.
Yeah.
Any kid I've coached since then, I always just say, commit to doing the things the other ones don't want to do. And that's really, you'll always find a place for that type of person. And some games I didn't get in, some games I started, and played quite a bit. But then there's games when I knew you just got to be ready when your number's called. And so I always just tried to hustle. Anytime out there, give it your all, give it your best every single time, and don't back down, and constantly look to improve and get better all the time.
Just to shift gears a little bit here, Todd, today, during our meetings, this really echoed with me and really meant something to me. But in our meetings, you had it seems like one of your mentors come, Charlie, who was a very nice guy and has been down this road, and it seems like someone that you kind of look up to. Um, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, yeah. Charlie came in. Charlie, just for history's sake, yeah, I mentioned I worked at Fairchild Imaging. That's where we developed the Dexis Gendex sensors, etc. Charlie was the CEO of that company and had actually kind of bought it out previously from when it was basically like losing money. Bought it out from Lockheed, and then ended up building it to the point where we ended up selling it to BAE for about 30 times what the original price was. This is in a matter of like 6 years, and it's largely dental, I must say. But Charlie, I mean, I just admired his ability not only to grow the company, but also the environment he had. It was like a family. We were a fairly large company. It was a 150 person family, right? It was a large family, but we're still all close. We still all hang out. You know, the people are still left. There's not many left anymore, but we still, you know, are close friends with them. And the environment he had, the relationship I had with him, when I decided to, you know, looking to start in this company, and the first person I called was Charlie, and you know, he had some good suggestions on how to, you know, gather up people, and you know, a little bit on the model itself, and how to raise money, because he'd done that before. He'd raised money through some private equity, and so, you know, it's I looked up to him, and he's involved today, and you know, he's still a sounding board. You know, it's like if I have some questions, you know, I know I can ask Charlie if there's something I'm a little uncertain about. So, you know, he's got good business sense. He's retired, so he cares about the business. This is kind of his little side gig. You know, he comes in a couple times a week, and it's great to hear his input.
Yeah, it's good to have someone
So
like.
so cool. So so cool, and just kind of a lesson for all of us here. With Todd, with the position that he's in, and all the success that he's had, he still has a mentor in his life, someone that he runs things by, a consultant, if you will. But it just goes to show that no matter where we are in our lives, we are always looking to someone else to help reassure us in our decisions, and make us feel more comfortable and confident in the decisions that we make. So I loved seeing that today, Todd. I loved how you brought Charlie in, and how you kind of deferred to him a couple times, and yeah, just some good stuff there.
He was so modest too.
Yeah.
He's like, I just help Todd. That's all. I just help him.
No,
He was so nice.
he was critical to getting this thing going. You know, it's one thing to have an idea and a vision, and it's another thing to execute on it. So you always need help.
Absolutely.
I want to take a little trip down memory lane here with Jocelyn. This is a pretty funny story that I usually like to share with people. So I started forming this relationship with Jocelyn and Bobby, and having some conversations. And one of my first conversations with Jocelyn was a planned call, and so we both kind of got on the phone, and I'm talking to her, and I can hear this smacking in the background. And in my head, I'm envisioning Jocelyn pounding a roast, like tenderizing a roast, at home cooking, and talking to me at the same time. And I just keep hearing it. I'm like, Jocelyn, I'm like, what's that whacking noise that I'm hearing? I'm like, you like tenderizing some pork or something? And she starts like breaking down, hysterically laughing. Jocelyn, can you share what you were actually doing?
Please do.
Oh my
Because this is the not so serious dental
I
podcast.
can't believe, like, I've forgotten about that. I'm trying to follow follow that memory lane that you're laying out, and oh my gosh. So obviously I'm in California, and Mark is in Boston, so we have 3 hours difference, right? So I called him a couple of times, during the day, and he didn't respond. And I know he's very busy. I texted him and all that. So end of my day, when I say end of my day, I'm not going to tell you what time is that in California. But I had an appointment, and I had to go. I went and get my nails done. And as I was enjoying my nails, my phone rang, and it was Mark. I'm like, oh shoot, I've been trying to reach this guy for the entire day. So I had to pick up the phone, and this is the very time that my nail person was giving me a foot massage that I enjoy very, very much. So that's it. That is so.
She was whacking those feet away, I'll tell you that.
I'm not gonna ask her to stop because I was enjoying it. And Mark is like, "What is that?"
I
And
don't
I
blame
told him,
you.
like, I'm so sorry. I am getting my nails done right now. But that was so funny.
That was that was very
I
funny. I'll probably
I think
never
you were
forget that.
yeah, I think you were driving from some, like hang out with, with your or college friends or something like that also.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes, good
your
memory.
rowdy group of friends.
Rowdy group, rowdy group.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, note to self, Sarah, when you're getting your nails done, don't pick up the phone.
I
Mark's
mean,
calling.
I don't know. I'm all right with that. I would just be like, I'm getting my nails done, so you were lucky that I just answered this phone
That is
call.
true. I did not know that. I did not do that. But how dare you ask what was I doing?
I mean, who the hell knows what she could have said? I had no idea where this was
That's
going.
just the
Yeah,
sort of guy I
me too.
am. Right down to it. Right down to it.
Slightly terrified that we were going to have our first like X-rated or R-rated like podcast right now because of Jocelyn.
Those Millers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those
Yeah,
Millers.
right.
Hey, after all, we are the Millers.
I'd actually like to share one more story, just from a clinician's perspective, and again, in meeting Jazz. So we met last year at the Amplify conference, which they actually didn't have this year, which was too bad. And I signed up as a dentist, as a DSO,
Yeah.
and prior to maybe a couple days prior to the conference, I got a call from my program manager, Tammy, and she said, Mark, she said, this guy, Bob Edwards or something from Jazz called and, was looking maybe to talk to you at this conference. And I'm like, Jazz? What the hell is Jazz? And I, look up Jazz on the internet and I'm like, okay, imaging sensors, whatever. And so I go to the conference and I meet Jocelyn there. Jocelyn's kind of greeting people and, got this great smile, talking very nicely, whatever. She introduces me to Bobby. Bobby's got his game going, which is electric and very alluring. And then they have a piece where, during the conference, they're talking about their sensor. And, Bobby's talking about it and saying all these things that it does. And in my mind, I'm saying, yeah, right. Okay. I'd really like to see what this thing, what this sensor does, the capabilities. And, we had a couple more conversations and then Jazz let me borrow one of their sensors for a month at my endo practice.
Yep.
And so, obviously started using it. Took pictures on myself first to see what it looked like. And I was like, wow. I was like, the quality of these images is pretty darn good. In fact, I compared it to older images of my same teeth just to see the difference. And started using it on patients and was like, wow, this is really some good stuff here. And not only was the quality great, but also it was so much more comfortable for the patients because of the size of it, which is small, and the beveled corners, and we're just getting rid of those good diagnostic quality images. So then once I started, beta testing it, I had, my partners and my associates started using it. And they're very picky. Most of us dentists were picky, especially endodontists. And, the feedback I was getting from them was incredible. They were loving it. And the month had gone by where my beta testing of using it had expired, and I sent the X-ray back to the Jazz Imaging headquarters, and one of my associates had a patient come in like the day after who had a really small mouth and was very challenging to get X-rays on, and he had to go back to the old sensors that we're using, which was a different brand, which are bigger, and he was so bummed out because we sent the Jazz sensor back and he was so much looking forward to using it, utilizing it because of the smallness and size, and he knew it was going to be so much more comfortable for the patient. And once I got that feedback from my partners and once I got that feedback from my associate, I was like, okay, man, we need to jump in here and do some stuff here with Jazz Imaging. So, coming from someone who thinks they're a perfectionist in the dental industry, and who very much cares about the patient experience and their levels of comfort, and trying to make that visit, as least traumatic as possible, because taking x-rays can be traumatic. I just knew that, this was a great product, and, I've been backing Jazz since then. And, once again, I really push for, let's get this in our practices so we can get those quality images.
Yeah.
And, I'm not paid to say any of this. And, I just say it how it is, pretty much. Just like when I asked you, Jocelyn, what the heck that noise was when you were getting your feet slapped with your pedicure.
Mark, that is, thank you. Thank you for saying that. The nice thing is at Jazz, I say this all the time. We make two products right now. We have two sensors, two different sizes, and that's our focus. That's where we stay in our lane. We're right there. As to a lot of companies have a sensor also. There's a lot of things out there. I always say there's nothing really sexy about sensors anymore. I was there when it was exciting, when you were taking people from analog to digital, from film to sensors. That was exciting. Now it's a commodity. And there's nothing really sexy about it, but we focus on those two products, and it's nice. We're not a jack of all trades, master of none. I like to think that we are a master of what we do, of our two products, and we stay in our lane, and we do it well. So thank you very much for saying that. Very kind.
No
Yeah,
problem.
I do agree, and it's good to hear that, Mark. It's nice to hear, from a clinician like you, to hear that feedback from a clinician like you, because we owe it to our partners. We owe it to you. We owe it to all our partners, to deliver the best, not only the best product, but the best support. And, part of your tour today is, how do we continue to learn from all the experiences that we hear from our partners, and we learn from them, and we make improvements to our product, to our services, to just the complete process, right? And to Bobby's point, we have two products, and we are intentionally trying to be the best every day, because we owe it to our partners who put their trust on us.
So, and again, it's like you guys take it to another level, because, when we set the sensors up in my practice, sometimes there's little tweaks that you have to make. But I was so totally impressed with, I make a phone call to your headquarters. I get one of your customer service reps. They actually remote in to my computer, and they set up filters that was most accommodating to me, how I like to read x-rays. So, again, kind of being specific to the clinician on how I like to see things. And then here I am today, and I see all your customer service people in their little cubicles and answering questions to their clients. You don't tend to see that a whole lot these days. And, for us as dentists, when our sensors go down, I'm sorry, but we're in trouble, because when we can't diagnose anything, we can't provide treatment. Right. And, really those images, those diagnostic images, act as the foundation to our practices, and are just so darn important. And, when our sensors go down, or when our softwares go down, we're dead in the water, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for us. It causes frustration for us and our staff and for our patients. It's just a big domino effect. So the sooner we can get that issue rectified, absolutely the better.
Right. And that what makes Jazz unique, right? Because having the engineers, the developers, the manufacturing team, and the support team in the same building, in this same, when support, have their hands up on a wall, all they really have to do is to run next cubicle and talk to the engineers who will help them solve the problem. So and I really don't think that there's any other sensor manufacturer out there that is doing this similar to what we are doing, in terms of having a cohesive team supporting the product.
Cheers to Jazz.
And how do you want
Cheers
people
to
to reach
Boston
out?
Bubbles.
Boston Bubbles. Jocelyn and Bobby, how do you guys want our listeners to reach out to you if they have any questions? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Bobby, I'll have you take this one.
I'm not going to give my cell phone number out on this podcast, but I will tell you It's not hard to find. I do put my personal cell on. I carry one phone, and I put it on all my business cards, and even the one piece of literature that we hand out. I want people to be able to get a hold of me easily. But Bob at jazzimaging.com or Jocelyn at jazzimaging.com. Very simple, easy. And it's also a testimony again to Todd and the atmosphere that he's created here, that we're able to just be able to provide that level of support. Because I think I was telling you earlier, Sarah, that, when people call in, the team has probably already heard about 85% of the same thing. They're not taking a call and then having to put on their intraoral camera hat or their intraoral scanner or my cone beam or whatever it may be. Really, it's honestly what you said, Mark, and being privately held and going direct to the customer out of San Jose, California, we can quickly and easily get you right back on the road, get you right back up and running, get you a new sensor, whatever it may be, fast. So it's just really nice. Please call.
So, speaking of which, it looks like we didn't have anyone call in. Maybe we'll give people one more minute. Another hot topic that we discussed today was our love for Disney World. Bubbles.
Yes.
Disney Vacation Club member for forever.
Disney pass holder several times. Bobby, you like Disney as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I have been there more times than I can possibly count. I married into a Disneyland family. And one of the things I said I would never do, because we used to go before we had kids, and I would look at all these people, and I'm like, who brings their 6-month-old here? Why are you doing that? Why
Bobby,
are you pushing a stroller?
Bobby does.
Yeah.
Did you?
And then sure enough, I'm there pushing a double stroller with both my kids who can't even go on these rides. And I'm like, here we are. This is awesome. And little fun fact, the ticket costs the same for them as it does for, us as well as adults. So yeah, I've been there. But I will tell you this, being from, you being from Florida, that we did actually go to Disney World for the very first time as a family. It was my daughter's suggestion. She's 18 and she was 17 at the time and said she really wanted to do this. And so we fired up and went to Disney World for the first time for a week. And that was great. A week.
Did you guys do Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy?
That was Guardians of the Galaxy is my absolute favorite. And that is also, we don't have that at Disneyland. We don't have Guardians of the Galaxy at Disneyland. They do, but it's the old Tower of Terror. So even going to Disney World and being able to go on the Tower of Terror again was great, because you can't do that at Disneyland. They changed that into their version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But the Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm just telling you, if you haven't been on it at Disney World, it is the best friggin' ride. I love it. We went it probably went on it 4 or 5 times.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this was a great podcast. Again, this was our destination podcast, and maybe we'll just put it out there, Bubbles. If any other
people want us to come to them, we will.
We will do it if you want to fly us out and take care of us.
I mean, yes.
But it's, no Boston, no Bubbles, no Bubbles, no Boston.
No, that's right.
We come as a pair.
We're
Have
together.
podcast will travel for sure.
But honestly, thank you guys. This was, I think, a great podcast today. So good hearing more from you. And again, being here in your headquarters, such a great treat. And so we thank you guys.
Yes, your team is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Bubbles.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Right.
See you in a minute.
Cheers.
Jazz hands.
Jazz
Jazz hands.